Hickok 45 here. Welcome to the Hickok 45 Talks channel. I think, a shorter one today. Someone asked me to talk about cell phones in schools. Oh boy, now I have touched on this in Sunday videos, I think, a time or two. And I'm always surprised the people that get a little upset at me. But, oh man, I mean, I have opinions on about everything, but I'm generally not, it's not like black and white, this is it, my way or the highway, or man, if you don't see it my way, you're an idiot. And it's not many or any topics, I'm like that on. Because I realize I ain't all that smart. I just have opinions like everybody else. But cell phones in schools, that is one thing, and I do have some experience with that. I may not be too bright, but I have experience with this, whereas many of you do not. You were not dumb enough to go into teaching and live, let's see, at least 25 years in a middle school. Yeah, just in case you wonder why I'm insane. So 29 years total teaching, some of those high schools, juniors, and then about 25 years teaching 7th grade, 8th grade. So anyway, I've been through this. It's just bizarre. Well, see, just recently, as I'm speaking today, there's a new, maybe it was just one state, or maybe it's something that the president's, I don't know, but they're making it okay for legal or whatever for schools. I don't know if it's across the country or in some state, but I remember seeing this just a day or two ago, to restrict cell phone usage for the students. So, well, what do you know? I mean, it is laughable to me. Laughable. Cell phones. See, I was in, teaching middle school. Cell phones. Every student had a cell phone for the last 7, 8, 10 years that I taught. Every student had a cell phone. They brought them to school. Not a problem. Why? Because they had to keep them in their locker, and they would get taken up. If we heard one or saw one, we were to just take it up, take it to the office. They had to go to the office, and to get it back, they needed to generally call home, or they'd get tongue lashing from the dean. I think it was mainly their parent had to come in when they picked them up or whatever, and pick the phone up or something like that. Mostly, and that policy changed a little bit as time went on, but it wasn't a problem. It was not a problem generally. I can remember taking up like a couple or something. One of them went off into class and that kind of thing. And I knew that at lockers, you see if you hit head kind of in the locker or something between classes, that not that big a deal. The main thing was they couldn't have it in class, and they knew it. And they knew that phone was going away. If that phone made a sound in class, or it came out of a pocket, or we saw it. I'm sure they had them in their pocket or purse sometimes, and we just didn't know it. But that's okay. As long as it's not ringing, it's not going off, they're not touching it, it's like it's not there. That's the main thing, right? And so it just was not a problem. So I always find it almost laughable when I hear about these problems with cell phones at schools. How did you let it become a problem? When was the first time you allowed someone to bring a phone into the classroom? Were you brain dead? Or what? You're an educator. You've been around kids, I would assume. Did you not see this as a problem that might develop very quickly? It's just, it is not rocket science. It's science, and it's not that hard to control, if you just do it from the beginning. And here's the thing, I know the argument, as I've seen people make it, and I've seen parents interviewed. Well, I want my kid to have a phone. We even need to communicate if there's a problem. Some school shooter, or there's a problem. I want to know. They got to be able to communicate. Well, that is not necessary. That just creates confusion for the most part. Now there could be an exception to that. There could be a situation I understand in a classroom. Maybe the kids are huddled up in the closet. No one else even knows what's going on. But that's people are going to know, and the teachers will communicate. You know, you've got somebody in charge of that 20 kids or whatever it is, or 30 in that classroom. They will have a phone, and you know, and in the office, and it's a lockdown, whatever the situation is. Just as a parent, and most of that's just out of selfishness, out of that, you know, like, oh, I want to know if there's something going on in school. Yeah, you want to interfere with what's going on at school because they're doing the best they can do. They may not be doing the right stuff, but they've got a system at school. If there's a lockdown or some situation, the teacher in charge of that group of kids is going to tell them exactly what to do. They need to be focused on that teacher, that administrator, where to go, what to do, be quiet generally, get down, get in the closet, whatever they are doing, and don't make a sound, you know. And the teacher is going to lock the door or whatever they're doing, whatever their system is. They don't need people grabbing phones and trying to talk and text and all that. That would really make a nightmare 10 times worse. Okay, it's not going to do them any good to let their parents know. Oh, we got a situation at school, Mom, Dad. Just get them all scared, and then they come running into school and trying to get into the building or whatever the heck it is, or flooding the police department with phone calls. And I guarantee you, everybody knows it needs to know something is going on, what has to be done, and they don't need 200 kids with phones tying up the cell towers and trying to call home and crying to mommy and daddy and whatever's going on. I mean, you got to trust the school administrators. If you don't, you got other problems. You need to get them straightened out. Okay, you need to, if the emergencies are the thing that are on your mind, you need to make sure the teachers and the administrators have a plan for whatever it is, a hurricane, a tornado, a threat that comes into the school, whatever it is. They've got a plan for what they're going to do. You don't need 100, 200, 500 kids on phones when there's an emergency. Yeah, so that's my opinion. I'm pretty strong on that because I've been there. Now, we wanted the kids to have phone. All that said, I loved it that they had phones. Because before that, at the end of the day, you know, you got kids, you know, some whatever, tennis match gets rained out, and so, I got to get a ride home. You know, my mom or dad were coming after me, or they're coming to the tennis match, and it's an away match, or it's here, or wherever, and they were going to show up at 4 o'clock, or they were going to come watch the match. And well, now there's no match, and we can't have practice. It's raining, or whatever it is, you know. Well, they were all lined up at the office to use the phone, you know, or one pay phone. It just kind of a nightmare, really. They'd want to get out of class, you know, to go call, Mr. So-and-so, I need to make a call. My mom and dad are coming to school, or my mom's going to be here at the end of the day, and they think they don't know the game's canceled, or, you know, whatever the situation might be. So it was really nice when everybody, you know, brought a phone to school. And we just let them call. And there are different procedures for that. Usually they just go out in the hall and make the call, or go down to the office and use their phone, or go to their locker and call home. It's the end of the day, you know, study hall at the end of the day or something. It doesn't matter that much. So it was really nice, them having the phone. They just, having that in class, what a nightmare. Not to mention just the ease with which someone could pass information, or during a test, or just, you know, all that, distractions. Oh my gosh. You know, don't even want to think about that. So I don't know, those are my thoughts on cell phone. I was going to make it short, but as you can see, I'm very opinionated, and I've lived it, and we handle it pretty well. There's just occasionally, you know, somebody would have fun. Now we didn't. It wasn't the kind of deal where if you had a phone, you know, it went off in class. You weren't supposed to have it there, but, you know, it rang or something, or started beeping, whatever it might be. That was evidence that you had the phone where you weren't supposed to have it. It was supposed to be in your locker, in your bag, or something. It wasn't like we just berated them and made them feel like a felon, you know, for that. But they knew the penalty, and Martha, bring it up here, you know, sorry, but, you know, you got to take it down to the office. And you know the drill. That's that kind of thing. It's not like they had pulled out a club and slapped somebody upside the head with it, you know. But you got to manage that. Or let me put it this way: I really enjoy teaching, but I would absolutely not teach in a classroom where the kids had access to their phones. Now, we had tablets, we had laptops, you know, but it was like, here's what we're doing now. And I guess you could, I don't know, if they didn't have laptops or computer access, I don't know if I can imagine a situation where, okay, everybody pull out their phone. We're going to go to this website and we're going to do this. And I don't know how that would work. It was difficult enough online on the laptops. But anyway, you asked for it, you got it. Life is good.